believe the next thing that I have to do is install the headers, since it just seems like the next logical step. But try to see if anything else. In the meantime, the power steering pump, I'm going to do that afterwards, and the water pump. So let's go get the headers and let's start working on those. But before I do that, let's see if I can get some light in here. This ground right here, I'm going to disconnect that, and it's attached right here. I don't know if you can see that right there. So let's go ahead and disconnect that, just so it's easier for me to put the headers through. And before I also install them, I'm going to grab these guys, extension wires for the oxygen sensors, and put them in here as well. I disconnected this wire, and I just left the bolt back on here, and then I also plugged in one of these extensions, and I'm just going to route that to the bottom. I'll just let it hang right there for now. And let's go ahead and plug this one in on the passenger side as well. So passenger side wiring has been connected. There's also another connector down here. For some reason I have disconnected. It's blue, which I know you can't see from here. So I went ahead and reconnected those. So on here there's two connectors. If you did disconnect this one, just plug it back in. All right, let's go get those long tube headers and see how we're gonna get them in here. I hope they can fit in from the top, to tell you the truth. Okay, so this is gonna be pretty interesting. Get this guy out as far away as I can. There's really not much space here now that I'm looking at it. I really hope that somehow I can slide it in from the top. So we'll see. This is the passenger side top header installation attempt. Okay, that's not working. Yeah, that ain't working. Let's get this thing out. Let's try from the bottom. Alright, so I got the passenger side header in from the top, which I attempted from the bottom, and then I lifted the car up. I mean, it's, let me just see if you can see. The top right here is about chest high with me, and it just requires such a big angle that there's no way. So I knew I had to attempt this from the top or not succeed at all. And finally got the passenger side in through the top, which is freaking fantastic. Let's see how difficult the driver's side is after I bolt this thing on. Alright, so you can see the headers right here. I was also able to, without removing the dipstick tube, get it to go through this side right here. So now I'm going to put on the gaskets and the new header bolts. Okay, I went ahead and reattached all 6 bolts. Here's one on the left, and this one 3 and 4. 5 is with the dipstick tube, and 6 right there. Whew, man, I am so happy this thing went in from the top. I was getting worried on what I was gonna do next, to tell you the truth. But this line right here, I mean, I flexed it to the max to get it to go in there. I did scratch them up a little bit in a couple of spots. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mask this off slightly, and since it is matte, that's why I put that clear coat on there, because I figured this was going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and touch it up. But before I do that, I'm going to torque these down and then move on to the driver's side header. Try to get that installed tonight and go to sleep. Alright, header bolts have been torqued down to 18 foot-pounds. Now we can reconnect this too, but I'm going to move on to the driver's side header first. Okay, driver's side header attempt from the top. Don't mind the Mario music, it's just my son playing some video games in the background. I'm going to disconnect the steering rod again, and hopefully it'll give me enough space to push this through. Whew. 30 minutes and this header is finally in. Alright, to describe the process, what I had to do, I removed these 2 spark plugs right here, and then I removed this steering tie rod, whatever it's called, off, and then I was able to push the headers in from the top to a certain point. At the bottom it got stuck, so I grabbed the crowbar, which you can't see right now, and at the end I just kind of beat it with a hammer until it was inching forward, and I got it inched all the way to the point where I got to the top, hit it a few times with a hammer, and moved a little bit more, and went to the bottom again, got on that crowbar, hit it a few more times, and it just finally fell in place. But I would say the driver's side is way more difficult than the passenger side. So if you're going to be doing this, man, I really hope you have a lift. And I mean, it can be done in the garage. Let me show you how far my car is lifted. It doesn't even have to be lifted this much, to tell you the truth. But it's a lot easier from what it looks like on the videos going from the bottom. I don't know how those other videos where it shows people putting it in from the top and it just slips right in. I don't know how in the world they do it, but it doesn't work like that. The only other thing I can think of, and I wish I would have done this, is to just put the headers in and just let them rest there before you put the heads in. So if you already have the heads off, just go ahead, slide the headers in, tie them somewhere around here, tie the other one around there. It's going to be a little bit more of a pain when you're putting your heads on, but in the end I think it's way worth it than doing it the way I just did it. So yeah, now it's time to just put the bolts on, gasket in the middle, and tighten them down and go get some good night's rest. Start tomorrow again. I'm not kidding when I say spend some time installing the headers. Man, this is a process and a half. So right now, I'm just gonna torque down the headers to 18 foot-pounds and reattach that bolt to the steering. Alright, so applying some Loctite, and I'm about to reinsert the bolt back into the power steering intermediate shaft. I remember the name finally. So that goes in there, and now we're going to torque it down. Alright, that's been torqued down to 25 foot-pounds. So now I just have to reinsert the spark plugs that I ended up removing. The 2 spark plugs right there, so that I can go ahead and squeeze this header through. So I'm just going to hand tighten it and then tighten it down with my spark plug install tool. 2 spark plugs, the second and the third one, have been installed and torqued down to 11 foot-pounds. I also went ahead and disconnected the brake booster vacuum cable that goes to the back of the intake. So I'm just going to reattach that. Let me grab, well, I'm at it right here, this little guy, and push this connector in. Alright, so that guy suffered a little bit of a impact from the headers when I was installing them, but with a little bit of a, whatever this needle thing is, I was able to remove some of that plastic that was loose, and it snapped in. Like I said, I am gonna have to tape it down right there, probably with some heat resistant tape, and maybe we'll later on replace this part, but for the time being, I think that's good enough. So everything's good, everything's been installed. That's it for today. We'll continue tomorrow.